Pate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Mother Shyama Gauri, I see you're there. Would you mind reading the translation for this prayer? If you can.
Sometimes she's at work, so
Okay.
it's just listening.
Sorry, yes, I can. Sorry, bro.
She's there.
Anyone who has accepted the two lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya can understand the true essence of devotional service. If one is captivated by the pleasing pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, the dirty things in his heart will all become cleansed. One who simply takes the holy name of Gaurasundar, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, will immediately develop love of God. To such a person, I say, bravo, very nice, excellent. If one appreciates the merciful pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and feels ecstasy and sometimes cries, this process will immediately help him to understand the eternal pastimes of Radha Krishna. Simply by understanding that the associates of Lord Gauranga are eternally free from material contamination, one can immediately be promoted to the transcendental abode of Lord Krishna. If one simply understands that the land of Navadvip is not different from Vrindavan, then he actually lives in Vrindavan. If one says, let me dive deep into the waves of the nectarian ocean of transcendental loving movement introduced by Lord Chaitanya, he immediately becomes one of the confidential devotees of Radha and Krishna. It does not matter whether one is a householder living at home or a Banaprastha or sannyasi living in the forest. If he chants, O Gauranga, and becomes a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, then Narottama Das begs to have his association.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We're reading and studying and discussing Sri Caitanya Caritamrita Adi Lila chapter 10, and here we are at text number 106.
শঙ্করারণ্য আচার্য বৃক্ষের এক শাখা মুকুন্দ কাশীনাথ রুদ্র উপশাখা লেখা.
Translation. The Acharya Shankararanya was considered the 48th branch of the original tree. From him proceeded sub-branches known as Mukunda, Kashinath, and Rudra. Purport. It is said that Shankararanya was the sannyas name of Srila Bisharu, who was the elder brother of Vishwambhara, the original name of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shankararanya expired in 1432 Shakabda at Sholapur, where there is a place of pilgrimage known as Pandarapur. This is referred to in the Madhya Lila chapter 9, verses 299 and 300. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu opened a primary school in the house of Mukunda, or Mukunda Sanjay. And Mukunda's son, who was named Purushottam, became the Lord's student. Kashinath arranged the marriage of Lord Chaitanya in his previous ashram, when his name was Vishvambhara. He induced the court Pandit Sanatan to offer Vishvambhara his daughter. In the Gaur Gunadesh Deepika, verse 50, it is mentioned that Kashinath was an incarnation of Satrajit, who arranged the marriage of Krishna and Satya. And it is mentioned in verse 135 that Rudra, or Sri Rudraram Pandit, was formerly a friend of Lord Krishna named Varutapa. Sri Rudraram Pandit constructed a big temple at Vallabhapur, which is 1 mile north of Mahesh, for the deities named Radha Vallabha. The descendants of his brother, Yadunandana Bandyopadhyay, are known as Chakrabarti Thakurs, and they are in charge of the maintenance of this temple as Sevaites. Formerly, the Jagannath deity used to come to the temple of Radha Vallabh from Mahesh during the Ratha Yatra festival. But in the Bengali year 1262, due to a misunderstanding between the priests of the two temples, the Jagannath deity stopped coming. Om Agyana Timirantasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupagata Mahyam Dadati Shapandantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Before speaking, I'd like to ask permission from the devotees, especially those who are senior by age, advancement in Krishna consciousness, or involvement in the Hare Krishna movement. Thank you. This branch of Lord Chaitanya's tree, Shankararanya, which is the sannyas name of Lord Chaitanya's older brother, Vishvarup. The discussion about Vishvarup is there as described here in the Madhya Lila chapter 9, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after taking sannyas, he went to Jagannath Puri, but stayed there only a very short time, giving the example of how the renunciants are supposed to preach. Immediately, after a very short time, left Puri and traveled to the south to preach Krishna consciousness and to practice spread the chanting of the holy names all throughout the southern part of India. There was some resistance by his associates because they were fearing separation from him. So he gave the excuse that he was going to search for his brother. And then, oh, okay, that's okay. So for family business, it's all right. People accepted that. Anyway, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being the all omniscient personality of Godhead, already knew that his brother had gone back to Godhead, but he used that as a pretense for going south. So as he was traveling, he traveled all the way down to the tip of India, and then came up on the western side. And when he was staying near Pandharpur, as mentioned here, what's the name of the city nowadays? Pandharpur, is that still the name? Where the deity of Vittal is? Yes. Okay. They have a big fair there, Vittala. Anyway,
Is it Ujjain?
no. This is it's western. It's just north of Bombay. This place, Pandharpur.
Pandaripur, they say.
Pandharpur. Yeah. This was a center after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There was a devotee named Saint Tukaram. Tukaram made that his main place, and he was worshiping the deity there of Vittala. Vittala is an incarnation, a deity of Vishnu Krishna. So anyway, Lord Chaitanya arrived. Go ahead, Kavita.
Sorry. It's still the same. The name is still
Pandaripur.
Pandharpur. Yeah. So he came there and was staying at the house of a Brahmin. And then he heard that nearby there was one of the disciples of Madhavendra Puri named Sri Rangapuri. And he was very anxious to have the association of Sri Rangapuri. So he went there to the where Sri Rangapuri was staying, and he offered his prostrated obeisances to Sri Rangapuri. And in doing so, he was showing signs of great happiness. And Sri Rangapuri noted that, and he said, "Oh, you must have a connection with Madhavendra Puri, because these signs of ecstatic love are not seen in the Sampradaya until the advent and teachings of Madhavendra Puri, who was the grand spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya, or the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya's guru, Ishvara Puri." Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments that in the line of the parampara of the Madhva Sampradaya, we talked about Madhvacharya yesterday, there was more of an emphasis on the following the rules and regulations of Varnashram, without the experience of ecstatic love of God. But with the advent of Madhavendra Puri, that the seed of ecstatic love of God was sprouted. And prior to Madhavendra Puri, the worship in the Madhva Sampradaya, Madhvacharya Sampradaya, was mostly Krishna or Ramchandra. But Madhavendra Puri and afterwards, there was the worship of Radha Krishna there. So they talked together for it says 5 to 7 days. They spoke about Lord Krishna, and then Sri Rangapuri asked Lord Chaitanya about where are you from anyway? Where did you come from? So they were absorbed for 5 or 7 days in just talking about Lord Krishna. This is the nature of spiritualists, devotees, that they just get absorbed in talking about the various pastimes, teachings, qualities of Lord Krishna. As Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mad Chitta, Mad Gata Prana, Bodhyanta Parasparam, Katayantas Chamam Nityam Tushanti Cha Ramanti Cha. He's describing the nature or the qualities of the spiritual person, the person who's free from material attachments. And he says that they're always thinking of me. Their lives are surrendered unto me, Madgata Prana. Bodhiyanta parasparam. And they're always talking about me. Katayantas jamam nityam. And they're always doing that. Tushanti charamanti cha. And they get great satisfaction and bliss in doing so. So there are many topics to discuss, but these topics are for the saintly persons. So Sri Rangapuri asked Lord Chaitanya, well, where are you from? So Lord Chaitanya mentioned that he was from his previous place, in his previous ashram. He was born in Navadvip. And so Sri Rangapuri said, oh, I went there to Navadvip. And actually I took lunch in the house of a very nice Brahmin by the name of Jagannath Mishra. And his wife, who was a very chaste lady, she cooked wonderful prasad. Specifically, she made mocha ganta, which was just like nectar. And Lord Chaitanya said, well, that was my father, and that's my mother in my previous ashram, because he was a sannyasi. So then Lord Chaitanya, and my older brother was Vishvarup, who was Shankararanya. And so then Sri Rangapuri said, oh, that Shankararanya, he was here, but he went back to Godhead just some time back, some back. So that was, at least on that level, was Lord Chaitanya's first information that his brother, who had taken sannyas, had left this planet and gone back to Godhead. Shankararanya, the sannyas name of Vishvarup. So Vishvarup was the older brother of Lord Chaitanya. And when he was a young boy, this is described to some extent in the Caitanya Bhagavat. A little bit is given in the Caitanya Caritamrita. But Advaita Acharya had two houses. One was in Shantipur, which is how far is Shantipur from Navadvip? It'd be halfway between Shantipur between Navadvip and Calcutta, isn't it? Maybe 30 miles. And the other house was in Navadvip, just very close to the domicile of Jagannath Mishra. So Advaita Acharya would have regular classes, just like you're having classes here today, describing the activities, teachings, and qualities of the Supreme Personality of God. And specifically, he was discussing Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And Vishvarup used to attend those classes regularly at the home of Advaita Acharya. And by hearing those discussions, he became more and more attracted to Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna's. So then one day when he was a teenager, late teens, he found out that his parents were arranging for his marriage, as dutiful parents do. So he was maybe 17, something like that. So because of his attraction for Krishna, he didn't want to become involved in material life. So you know what he did?
Took sannyas.
Yeah, he left immediately, took sannyas, which was a shock to his mother and father. He didn't even tell them. He was living with them for all those years. He didn't even tell them that he was leaving. But anyway, they found out later. But he swam across the Ganges and took sannyas, and then traveled as a parivrajak acharya. He didn't want to get married. So they were very shocked, the father and mother of Vishvarup, as sometimes happens with the ISKCON, Hare Krishna devotees who join ISKCON. Sometimes they join like that. They don't even tell their father and mother, because usually the father and mother will try to stop them. Isn't it? Usually. That's what happens. Anyway, but because of that, Mother Sachi criticized Advaitacharya. You know that? Why did she criticize?
She felt he influenced him, induced him to take sannyas.
Yes. Well, he was attending Advaitacharya's classes, so she blamed him for this this whole thing, his running away and all. Actually, Krishna is all attractive, but she blamed Advaitacharya. So later, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was distributing the gift of love of God to everyone, he refrained from giving it to his own mother. Why is that?
He was not happy. He was not happy that she blamed Advaitacharya.
Yes. I mean, go ahead, Ramsham.
Vaishnava Prabhuji, because Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never tolerate his devotee to be unrespected.
Yeah, his correct. Thank you. That's one obstacle. The major obstacle in the path of trying to attain love of God is offenses to Vaishnavas. So first, she had to be excused from that offense, and then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would gave her Krishna, love of God. Very important pastime instruction. So Vishvarup, one of the branches of Lord Chaitanya's tree, after his demise, or we say, he left, it says that he merged with Nityananda Prabhu. Usually in the Hare Krishna movement, you don't like the idea of merging, isn't it? We're separate. Well, God is, we're different than God. We don't merge with God. But Vishvarupa was already a expansion of Lord Nityananda. So that was okay. So then we're here where we hear about Mukunda Sanjay. You know Mukunda Sanjay in the Gaur Arti prayer. This Gaur Arti?
Yes.
How does that go?
Sanjaya Mukunda.
Yeah, Narahari Adhikari, Chamara Dhulai. Narahari is doing the Chamara. Sanjaya Mukunda. That's this one. Mukunda Sanjaya or Sanjaya Mukunda. That's this. This prayer is prayer kirtan that's happening in Navadvip. So all the devotees there they're the Nadia devotees. Later, there are other devotees who are, like Rupa and Shanatan, but they weren't there in Navadvip. You don't hear about them in that prayer. So this is Sanjay Mukunda was there. And then we'll read later about, this says, Sanjay Mukunda, then what? What's that? What's next?
Ghosh.
Vasu Ghosh. Vasu Ghosh. Vasu Ghosh is short for Vasudev Ghosh, who we'll read about shortly. Yeah. So then I think this is an old version of the purport here, because it says here that Satyajit arranged the marriage of Krishna and Satya. I'm not sure, is that correct?
It's Satyabhama.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, there's some editing mistake there. So then, it's because Satyajit, he was the one who had the Shyamantaka jewel that Krishna said, well, why don't you give it to the king? Which was Ugrasen, and Satyajit said, well, no. So later he let his brother borrow it, and the brother went out parading on horseback and got attacked by a lion and lost the jewel, killed. Satyajit then said it's a conspiracy. This Krishna, he murdered my brother just so he could get the jewel. You know that. So to show that he wasn't he hadn't done this conspiracy, Krishna went after, he did some investigation and he tracked the jewel down to a cave where Jambavan had kept the jewel and was playing, letting his little son play with it. So they had some conflict, fight. Finally, he won the fight. Lord Krishna, of course, Jambavan realized that I can't beat this person, even though Jambavan is very powerful. That this person is none different than my Lord Ramchandra. So he was defeated and he gave his daughter to Lord Krishna, the best husband you could get. And that was Jambavati. And then after that, in penance, in feeling guilty, Satyajit gave his own daughter Satyabhama to Lord Krishna. And then there's other discussion about Rudraram Pandit and differences of there. One interesting point here is that, so the Rath Yatra wasn't even way back, even historically, didn't just occur in Puri. So you see here that they were also doing the Rath Yatra festivals in different places in Bengal and Orissa. So just like in ISKCON, we do Rath Yatra festivals in different places. So similarly, it was done in the historically there in India as well. Questions, comments? So who are the people, who are the devotees, the eternal associates of Lord Chaitanya mentioned in this shloka? Who can say?
Advaitacharya already mentioned.
Yeah, but the branches, we're reviewing the branches. Shankararanya, that's one, right?
Mukunda.
Mukunda, yeah. Mukunda Sanjay or Sanjay Mukunda, right? Mukunda Sanjay.
Rudra.
Rudra Ram. Yeah. There's one more, I believe. Kashinath.
Kashinath.
Yeah. These are the devotees. Okay. Next shloka.
And about
In
the
the
Rath Yatra, it used to happen in my father's hometown also.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What was your father's hometown?
Vijayanagaram. It's
Ah.
just south of the Orissa border.
Yes. And so you're carrying on the tradition.
Yeah.
You and your family.
Yes.
Wow, very good. I didn't know that. Yeah, so it's not an isolated thing. Okay. Or not something made up. Okay.
They used to
Next
stop
one,
the
sir.
chariot in front of the house and then do the aarti, everything.
Oh, really?
And lastly, my father-in-law gave the money to pray or do the pujas. And then the pujari came in the morning and he gave the money. And then by the time he bought an prasadam, and he was telling that he gave this money, but he is no more. He just passed away that fast.
Because he got the money?
No, not that. But
No,
that-
my grandfather gave the money for offering puja beforehand. And
Yes.
so when the prasad was brought home to be given, my grandfather had passed away by then.
Oh, the grandfather. Okay.
So my father always felt a connection to Rath Yatra. And so his last Rath Yatra here, he wanted to make sure that he gave some money to go into the hundi on the chariot for his father.
Wow.
Yeah.
he came
Wow.
in wheelchair that day last weekend.
Wow. That's really wonderful to know.
Yeah.
I see Brajesh Govindo has his hand up.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam. Prabhu, in the previous sloka, I'm sorry, I don't understand that the Mukunda Sanjaya, just Lord Chaitanya already opened the school in the Mukunda's house, but is a Mukunda Sanjaya and Mukunda's son, is it a different person, right?
Yes, his name Mukunda Sanjay's son was Purushottam. Yeah.
And Mukunda's son, what is his name?
Now, Mukunda, which one person? Mukunda Sanjay is one person.
One
That's how I
person.
understand it.
Okay, Mukunda's son, he's the son of the Purushottam, you say?
Mukunda Sanjay's son is Purushottam, yeah. That's how I
Thank
understand
you.
it.
Okay, thank you.
Text 107.
And Prabhuji, that Satya that is written here, I see in the Vedabase it is written Satyavama.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's been different edits.
Yeah.
You know, some of the edits, because the original editing, the original Caitanya Caritamrita was done quite quickly, and some of the persons who were working on it didn't made some mistakes, and so those mistakes were corrected a little bit later. So this is an earlier edition, I suppose. Probably good to get the more the Veda-based edition, probably. Thank you.
Thank you.
শ্রীনাথ পণ্ডিত প্রভুর কৃপার ভাজন, যার কৃষ্ণ সেবা দেখি বশ ত্রিভুবন।
Srinath Pandit, the 49th branch, was the beloved recipient of all the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everyone in the three worlds was astonished to see how he worshiped Lord Krishna. Purport. About 1.5 miles away from Kumarhatta or Kamarhatti, which is a few miles from Calcutta, is a village known as Kanchadapada, which was the home of Sri Shivanand Sen. There, he constructed a temple of Sri Gaur Gopal. Another temple was established there with Sri Radha Krishna Murtis by Sri Nath Pandit. The deity of that temple is named Sri Krishna Rai. The temple of Krishna Rai, which was constructed in the year 1708 Shakabda, that's 1785, by a prominent zamindar named Nimai Mullik of the Paturia Ghat in Calcutta, is very large. There's a big courtyard in front of the temple, and there are residential quarters for visitors and good arrangements for cooking prasad. They have a nice kitchen. Okay. The entire courtyard is surrounded by very high boundary walls, and the temple is almost as big as the Mahesh temple. Inscribed on a tablet are the names of Srinath Pandit and his father and grandfather, and the date of construction of the temple. That's very interesting. When the first temple, ISKCON temple, was opened in London, that was at Berry Place. There was a plaque outside the temple. It said Radha Krishna Temple, and then it gave Shyam Sundar Prabhu's name as constructing the temple by the work of so similar here. Srinath. You might think, well, why should you give credit to anybody? You shouldn't want credit, but Srila Prabhupada gave credit in that case to Shyam Sundar and Srinath Pandit. He's gotten all the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, and he's also there on the plaque. And the date of the construction of the temple. Srinath Pandit, one of the disciples of Advaita Prabhu, was the spiritual master of the third son of Shivananda Sen, who was known as Paramananda Kavikarnapur. It is supposed to be during the time of Kavikarnapur that the Krishna Rai deity was installed. According to hearsay, Virabhadra Prabhu, the son of Nityananda Prabhu, brought a big stone from Murshidabad, from which 3 deities were carved, namely the Radha Vallabh Vigraha of Vallabhapur, the Shyam Sundar Vigraha of Kandadaha, and the Sri Krishna Rai Vigraha of Kanchadapada. The home of Shivanand Sen was situated on the bank of the Ganges near an almost ruined temple. It is said that the same Nimai Mullik of Calcutta saw this broken down temple of Krishna Rai, where he was going to Benares, and thereafter constructed the present temple. This is very interesting. It's in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that according to hearsay. Now, what do you make of that? You know, usually when speaking in devotional circles, well, we like to, it's important to cite the authority or the reference from which one is speaking, whether it be Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, etc. Because otherwise we don't know, it's not reliable information. Sometimes people say, well, I heard it from this person. Well, okay, but reliable information comes from the Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. But here, Srila Prabhupada included this hearsay vigraha about Virabhadra Prabhu, the son of Nityananda, who may have brought these stones. So it's an interesting point, but it's not necessarily true, but it could be true. What do you make of that? I wonder, according to hearsay. Any comments?
As you said, Prabhuji, Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. So Srila Prabhupada is the Param Guru. So we have to accept it.
Yes, but the point I was making is that here he's including this, the hearsay. So would you say that this information is reliable information? You know my point. Go ahead.
Prabhupada may have found some authenticity in that information. That's why he included it here.
Yeah.
Except that maybe we didn't find anything written in the script.
Nothing's collaborating. It may be true. It may not be true. Well, he's not. You could say he's not endorsing this because you say by saying according to hearsay, but at the same time, it's some information. Sometimes we see also that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta says this. According to some people, they say this. According to other people, they say that. Right? You've read that before. We'll see that later too. It's just an interesting point here. Usually, reliable information it comes from the Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. We can bank on that information. So one has to be careful if we use information from other different sources. It may be in line with the information coming from Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. That's very nice. But if, like here, Srila Prabhupada identified the hearsay as being hearsay. So similarly, if we hear information and it may not be true because we can't verify it in any Shastra, so then we say, oh, some people say this. It doesn't mean it's necessarily 100% correct. Does that make sense? Okay. Next sloka. Oh, we were supposed to go over that, those people. I'm sorry. The people. Let's go. Yeah. Srinath Pandit. Who else? Is that just Srinath Pandit, right?
Yes, Srinath Pandit.
Okay, everybody. Srinath Pandit, right?
Srinath Pandit.
Yes. Thank you.
Jagannath Acharya Prabhur Priyo Das. Prabhur Aggate Teho Koilo Gangabas.
Jagannath Acharya, the 50th branch of the Caitanya tree, was an extremely dear servant of the Lord, by whose order he decided to live on the bank of the Ganges. Purport. Jagannath Acharya is stated in the Gaur Gunadesh Deepika 111 to have formerly been Durvasa of Nidhuvan, Jagannath Acharya. Jagannath.
Nath Acharya.
Jagannath
Yeah.
Acharya.
Yes. Text 109.
কৃষ্ণদাস বৈদ্য আর পণ্ডিত শেখর কবিচন্দ্র আর কীর্তনিয়া ষষ্ঠী বর।
The 51st branch of the Chaitanya tree was Krishnadas Vaidya. The 52nd was Pandit Shekhar. The 53rd was Kavi Chandra. And the 54th was Shashtiva, who was a great kirtan performer. Purport. In the Gaura Gunadesh Deepika, it is mentioned that Srinath Mishra was Chitrangi and Kavi Chandra was Manohar Gopi. So Srinath Mishra was before. Yeah. Kavi Chandra here. So we have Krishnadas Vaidya, Pandit Shekhara, Kavi Chandra, and Shashtiva. Go ahead, you say.
Krishnadas Vaidya, Pandit Shekhara,
Shekhar,
Kavi Chandra,
Ravichandra, and Shashtivar.
Shashtivara.
And just coincidentally, Shashtivar, there's a devotee Shashtivar who lives in Washington, D.C. He's also a very great kirtan performer. Yes. Text 110.
শ্রীনাথ মিশ্র, শুভানন্দ, শ্রীরাম, ঈশান, শ্রীনিধি, শ্রী গোপীকান্ত মিশ্র ভগবান।
The 55th branch was Srinath Mishra. The 56th was Shubhananda. The 57th was Sri Ram. The 58th was Ishan. The 59th was Srinidhi. The 60th was Sri Gopikanta. And the 61st was Mishra Bhagavan. Purport. Shubhananda, who formerly lived in Vrindavan as Malati, was one of the kirtan performers who danced in front of the Rath Yatra car during the Jagannath festival. It is said that he ate the foam that came out of the mouth of the Lord while he danced before the Rath Yatra car. Ishan was a personal servant of Srimati Sachidevi, who showed her great mercy upon him. He was also very dear to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what do you think of this Shubhananda taking the foam from Lord Chaitanya's mouth? What do you think of that? Comments, come on. Hello. Would you do that? Go ahead. Is that Shashi Shekhar Prabhu?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Shashi Shekhar Prabhu. It seems kind of weird.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, really weird. But that's just from my unfortunate upbringing in Western culture, thinking this way.
You wouldn't take the foam from the mouth of anybody else, right?
No.
But the foam from the mouth of Krishna, or Lord Chaitanya, the same Krishna, that is fully purified, pure, spiritual, wonderful, elevating, sanctified. So ordinarily you wouldn't do that. But with Krishna, yes. Everything associated with Krishna is transcendental. Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnu aradhana param tasmat parataram devi tadiyanam samarchanam. We have Lord Shiva is speaking to his wife that of all kinds of worship of Vishnu is best, but even better than worship of Vishnu is worship of those beings or things associated with Vishnu, like the foam, Vishnu's foam, Lord Krishna's foam. Wow. So ordinarily, a person may not in the street bow down lie down on the street, that sounds like it's crazy, right? You go see somebody lying down in the middle of the street. But when you see Lord Jagannath and you pay dandavats, that's wonderful. That's purifying. A similar situation here. Thank you for sharing that, Shashi Shekhar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Ram Shyam, is that your hand up, Ram Shyam?
Yeah, Prabhuji, just to comment on that. I mean, materially it looks very weird, but transcendentally, spiritually, like this is well accepted. Like we do Puja Ekadasi, so we do that bathing. So in that, whatever the remnants comes from the deity, means dust and anything, we drink it keeping Charanamrit. Similarly, whenever Guru Maharaj also comes, or whenever the deity the snan happens, so bathing happens, so we eat the dust, remnants of that. So that's transcendentally, it is very, very good to have that, so that we get purified. Doesn't like we get that is the by the remnants we get impure. We get purified by that, because mercy comes from that one. That way it makes us to become humble. Because we are very down to earth, accepting that way, otherwise that kind of things.
Good point. Yeah. Good points. Yeah. So the Charanamrit is the water that's washed the body and the feet of the Lord. Would you drink water that's washed somebody's feet? Well, probably not. You wouldn't do that. But Lord Krishna's feet, yes, that's Charanamrit. The Ganges water is also Charanamrit, coming from the feet of Lord Vamandev. And as you good points, you mentioned prasad. According to Vedic rules, eating the remnants of somebody else is considered in the mode of ignorance. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Sometimes the parents have to take their children's remnants. They won't finish. But that's considered, anyway, according to general Vedic rules, but taking the remnants of Krishna's, of the spiritual masters, a meal is very wonderful. Very wonderful. Jagya Shishtashina Santo Muchante Sarvakilbisha. You take the remnants of yagya, of the food that's offered to Krishna and his devotee, and that you become free from all kinds of sinful reaction, all kinds of karma. So one side, the other side. What's materially abhorrent might be spiritually good. Not always, but in certain circumstances, it's that way. Srila Prabhupada was discussing with a reporter in Newsday magazine in New York, and the reporter was saying things that said, "Your devotees are weird," he was saying. Not exactly in those words, I don't remember the exact words. And Prabhupada said, yes, we are spiritual and you're material, so we're different, yes. So yes, there's going to be some things that are different. They're going to be shocking to the materialist that wouldn't be along the same lines that they're doing, but that's the difference. That's part of the practice of Krishna consciousness. Whatever the material norms are, they're not the guiding principle. The guiding principle is what will be pleasing to Krishna. What can I do to please Krishna and to please the spiritual master? So the spiritual master and Krishna are pleased when you take the remnants of their food stuff. So we do one more. Oh, we should read that. We should do the names. Srinath Mishra.
Srinath Mishra.
Shubhananda.
Shubhananda.
Sri Ram.
Sri Ram.
Ishan.
Ishan.
Sri Nidhi.
Srimati.
Sri Gopi Kanta,
Sri Gopikant,
Vishwa Bhagavan.
Mishra Bhagavan.
There's so many devotees, so many devotees, and we haven't even come halfway through actually. And so, in this world and now in these times, where there's a scarcity, but during the time of Lord Chaitanya, there was overwhelming. When Lord Chaitanya wanted to do Sankirtan, he would just give a call and 100,000 people would show up. Now we do a kirtan and maybe 3 show up, right? So there were so many devotees here. It's wonderful. You're not alone. There's a good society to have be part of. Okay, text 111.
Shubhuddhi Mishra, Hridayananda, Kamal Nayan, Mahesh Pandit, Shrikar, Sri Madhusudan.
The 62nd branch of the tree was Subudhi Mishra. The 63rd was Hridayananda. The 64th is Kamalanayana. The 65th was Mahesh Pandit. And the 66th was Shrikar. The 67th was Sri Madhusudan. Purport, Subudhi Mishra, who was formerly Gunachuda in Vrindavan, installed Gauritananda deities in a temple in the village known as Belagan, which is about 3 miles away from Sri Khanda. His present descendant is known as Govinda Chandra Goswami. Okay. So we're going at a faster pace lately now. So many devotees in each verse. Shubudhi Mishra,
Subhuddhi Mishra,
Hridayananda,
Hridayananda,
Kamalanayana,
Kamalanayana,
Mahesh Pandit,
Mahesh Pandit,
Shrikar,
Shrikar,
and Sri Madhusudana.
Sri Madhusudan.
Very good, very good. Thank you. Comments, questions, additions, corrections?
One question, Prabhuji.
Yes,
so,
sir.
These orders, chronological orders and names are given on that particular position. So are they, I was just wondering in the sense of like Navada Bhakti, we have Sravanam Kirtanam. So there is no any order there. And then stages there, Navada Bhakti stage, Adu Sraddha Tatha Sadhu. There is the chronological order is there. So is this fixed chronological order for the names what we are reading?
Well, if you remember, I mean, I don't know if you were there in that class. In the beginning of this long list of devotees, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentioned that there is no order. There's no order.
Okay.
Then he not that one some are greater and some are lesser. He didn't. He said just this. He put this that way. Good question, though. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. This is Ekadashi today. Ekadashi.
Hare Krishna.
Ancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhye vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namaha.
Thank you, Shraddha Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.